Being the only security officer on a deep space exploration station is every bit as thrilling as it sounds. Rex Thompson leaned back at his desk, boots propped on a stack of unfiled incident reports. He stared at the alien battleship through the reinforced viewing window, its silhouette bristling with weapons that looked more like abstract art installations than functional armaments. His coffee, long cold, was still caffeine, and that was enough. 15 years in Earth's Special Forces had taught him a lot, like how to sip cold coffee without grimacing and how to handle the unexpected. But in all his training, not a single form, diagram, or risk assessment covered what to do when a hostile alien armada showed up uninvited. The station's communications crackled, and a voice, as smooth as gravel in a blender, boomed. "I am Commander ZYKL of the glorious Conqueror Fleet. Surrender immediately or face annihilation." Rex raised an eyebrow, took another sip, and leaned toward the microphone. "Has anyone ever told you that your voice has a certain sandpaper charm? You dare mock me, insignificant creature? We have studied your kind. You are fragile, inefficient, and laughably reliant on basic sustenance. Your survival is a statistical anomaly." Rex stood, stretching until his spine cracked. "Oh, good." Another species that watched a few cat videos on the Galaxy Network and decided they knew everything about humans. He turned to the window, watching the battleship drift closer. "You know, I was supposed to be on vacation next week. A nice cabin on Mars, near Olympus Mons. Instead, I get you," the alien commander growled, a sound like a goat being strangled. "Your pathetic attempts at humor change nothing. Your communications are disabled, and your defenses are futile. You have 1 hour to surrender, or be destroyed." Rex glanced at his watch. "An hour? That's generous. I'll give you the same amount of time to pack up and leave. Filing paperwork for an invasion is a nightmare." The communications cut abruptly. Rex turned to his console and began typing. Most people didn't realize that a deep space station was a death trap waiting to happen. The systems keeping you alive could just as easily kill you if you knew which buttons to press. And Rex knew them all. While the alien armada prepared for what they assumed would be an easy conquest, Rex made some adjustments. Maintenance robots were reprogrammed, environmental controls recalibrated, and the emergency sprinkler system filled with an experimental chemical byproduct from the station's waste recycling. He even found time to brew a fresh pot of coffee, industrial strength, the kind that could strip paint. 45 minutes later, the alien fleet made their move. Smaller ships launched, energy beams sliced asteroids into geometric art, and another voice came over the communications, smooth and cold. "I am Supreme Commander Zakthor. I have conquered 17 worlds and defeated the Sentient Empire. Surrender now." Rex smirked. 17 worlds? Cute. I once fought an entire division with a plastic spoon and some creative profanity. We all start somewhere. The alien's voice grew strained. "Your bravado is meaningless. We have analyzed your technology. You are outmatched in every way." Sure, Rex replied, typing a final command. "But did your analysis account for coffee?" The first wave of alien troops breached the cargo bay. Rex greeted them via intercom. "Welcome to Deep Space Station Epsilon. Please note that artificial gravity might experience some technical difficulties." With a tap of his console, gravity fluctuated wildly, sending sleek alien soldiers careening into walls like cosmic pinballs. Industrial detergent sprayed from reprogrammed cleaning robots, corroding their adaptive armor faster than cheap takeout burns your tongue. Wave after wave met increasingly absurd defenses. Hydroponics Bay unleashed caffeine-fueled carnivorous plants. Lab speakers blasted a mix of death metal and bagpipes, overloading alien sensory implants. The gym transformed into a chaotic enthusiasm zone, with treadmills at max speed, floating free weights, and a pool filled with protein shake sludge. The piece de resistance? The coffee machine. Somewhere during the chaos, it gained sentience, and it was angry. By the time the aliens realized they'd severely underestimated humans, it was too late. The station, now a giant booby trap, had turned their invasion into a slapstick tragedy. As alien ships limped away, Rex leaned back in his chair, sipping his scaling coffee. You know, he mused to no one in particular. The really dangerous thing about humans isn't just that we survive on death worlds. It's that we get bored if things are too safe, and with that, he filed a particularly satisfying incident report. It's been having an existential crisis ever since really puts keeping me caffeinated into perspective. What relevance does this have to combat? None whatsoever. I just wanted to distract you while the food processor robots reprogrammed themselves to think everything is a potato that needs peeling. A series of mechanical wars filled the mess hall, followed by screams and the sound of adaptive armor being mistaken for particularly stubborn spud skin. Your species should be exhausted. By now, one of the commanders insisted our research indicates humans require regular rest periods. Rex checked his watch. Usually, yeah, but I just found out someone tried to invade during my coffee break. Do you have any idea how much paperwork there's going to be? Sleep can wait. He toggled another switch, and the station's cleaning protocols activated. Dozens of robotic mops deployed their cleaning solutions, replaced with what Rex likes to call spicy soap, a combination of industrial detergents and synthetic capsaicin. The aliens came filled with increasingly confused and panicked reports. The humans' plants are hunting us. The gravity keeps changing colors. Since when can mops hunt in packs? Why does everything smell like coffee? And regret. Rex leaned back in his chair, propping his feet up on the console. You know what the really funny part is? I haven't even had to move from this spot yet, but since you mentioned exhaustion, he stood up, cracking his neck. Maybe it's time I stopped playing around and actually started fighting back. The silence on the alien comm spoke volumes, mostly consisting of "oh no." Well, would you look at that? Rex mused, watching as massive war machines began teleporting into the station's main hub. Someone's compensating for something. The new units were impressive. He had to admit, 3 stories tall, bristling with weapons and powered by what looked like miniature stars. The kind of hardware that would make most species surrender on sight. Behold, our quantum strikers. Zaxtor boomed, each one capable of reducing a city to ash. Any Rex typed in a few commands. Quick question though. Did you account for the station's air conditioning? What relevance does climate control have to the massive war machines that suddenly found themselves being pelted by high-velocity ice chunks? As Rex reversed, the air conditioning system's defrost cycle turned out, that flash freezing the moisture in the air and launching it through ventilation shafts at near-sonic speeds made for a surprisingly effective anti-armor weapon impossible. No species can think this quickly under stress. That's where your research failed. You Rex started walking toward the hub, picking up a mop along the way. Don't just adapt to stress. We thrive on it. Also, we spent most of our evolution throwing things at bigger animals until they died. Old habits die hard. A squad of alien warriors, rounded. The corner weapons charge. Rex casually tosses coffee at them. The weapon's gray brew ate through their armor like acid, sending them scrambling for cover. You drink this substance. Only about 6 times a day. Rex confirmed, spinning the mop like a staff really helps with the productivity. Speaking of which, he kicked open a maintenance panel and pulled out what looked like a jury-rigged pressure washer. The aliens took one look at the device and actually backed up the smart move. Rex grinned. This bad boy is loaded with concentrated hand sanitizer. You know, the stuff we used to kill. 99.9% of germs. Always wondered about that last 0.1%. The aliens' internal communications were picking up chatter. Now the human shows no signs of fatigue. It's been hours. Why isn't it sleeping? Did you see what its beverage did to Sector Commander? Vex armor cleaning implements? They hunted us through the walls. Rex whistled as he worked his way through the station, occasionally stopping to adjust environmental controls or reprogram cleaning robots. The aliens had started moving in groups of 10 or more, jumping at every sound. Explain how you resist our neurodisruptors, who demanded a new commander. Probably the same way. I survived college finals week. Rex shrugged, ducking under a plasma, burst, sleep deprivation, spite, and enough caffeine to give a rhino heart palpitations. He rounded another corner to find one of the quantum strikers trying to squeeze through a doorway. The scene reminded him of a cat that had misjudged a box's size. You know, what's really impressive about humans? Rex asked, pulling out his makeshift sanitizer cannon. Our pattern recognition. For instance, I noticed you're big fancy. War machines have plasma, cooling, and vents that are very efficient. It would be a shame if someone were to spray them with water at a specific pressure and temperature. The resulting steam explosion was, in Rex's professional opinion, quite spectacular. More alien chatter filled the comms. It's using the station itself as a weapon. The human's biological functions should have failed hours ago. Why does everything smell like lemons and destruction? Is that human-made liquid eating through the quantum core? Rex headed for the station's central control room, casually dodging plasma fire and returning shots with his sanitizer cannon. The aliens were learning to fear the smell of lemon fresh, cleaner. Your endurance defies explanation. Zach Thorpe's voice held a note of genuine confusion. Our study showed humans require constant sustenance and rest. Oh, we do agree to reprogramming another group of maintenance bots, but we've also got this neat trick called adrenaline. Plus, this is way better than paperwork. He reached the control room and sat down at the main console. The aliens had brought in their heavy weapons and elite troops, but they'd forgotten something crucial about space stations. Hey, quick physics. Question Rex called out while typing what happens to a plasma weapon. If you rapidly cycle the artificial gravity between 0 and triple Earth normal. The silence that followed was broken only by the sound of very expensive alien technology having a very bad day. Surely your species has limits? Oh, we absolutely do. Rex confirmed, watching the security feeds. But our limits are more like guidelines, really, especially when someone interrupts our coffee break. The station's lights flickered as he diverted power to his next improvised weapon. The aliens had adapted to most of his tricks, but they couldn't adapt to what they couldn't predict. And if there was one thing humans excelled at, it was being unpredictable. Did your research mention anything about human creativity? Rex ass fingers flying over the console because I just figured out how to turn the waste recycling system into a railgun. Not sure how that's going to work. But I'm excited to find out the alien communications erupted with what could only be described as an organized panic. Their mighty army conquerors of 17 worlds were being systematically dismantled by one human, with access to cleaning supplies and too much time on his hands. Also, Rex added almost as an afterthought, I just had another cup of coffee, so you might want to brace yourselves. Things are about to get interesting. The alien universal translators struggled to convey the exact meaning of the exploding lives that followed, but their tone carried across just fine. The station's warning klaxons wailed as Zach Thor's personal battle cruiser punched through the outer hull. Not exactly subtle, but Rex had to admire the commitment Rex announced over the communications. There was a doorbell enough. Zach Thor's voice thundered through the station. I will end this personally. Finally, Rex checked his improvised arsenal, modified pressure, washer, weaponized mop, and a third of what he'd started, calling his thermal defoliant blend coffee. I was getting tired of playing with the tutorial level. The alien commander emerged from his ship in battle armor that made his troops' gear look like cheap plastic toys. It shifted and flowed like liquid metal bristling with weapons that probably violated several laws of physics. I have analyzed all your tactics. I have adapted to all your weapons. Cool. Rex took a sip of coffee. I haven't been using tactics. I've just been making it up as I go along. The commander charged his armor, morphing into bladed appendages. Rex met the assault with his mop, which he'd reinforced with material from the hydroponics bay's hardened plant supports impossible. The commander roared as his blades failed to cut through the mop handle. This is simple cleaning equipment. The correction Rex spun the mop like a bow staff, smacking away mechanical tentacles. This is human engineering. We've got a real talent for turning anything into a weapon. You should see what we can do with a rolled-up magazine. They traded blows across the station's main concourse Rex, matching each of the aliens' technologically enhanced moves with what he called good old-fashioned human stubbornness. Your species is rated as barely above primitive. Zach, Thor launched a barrage of energy bolts. You know what's funny about those ratings. Rex Dove is behind a fallen war machine emerging with a sanitizer cannon. They don't account for creative problem solving. He fired not at Zach Thor, but at the feeling that above him. The concentrated cleaner ate through the environmental control conduits, showering the alien commander with a mixture of industrial lubricant and recycled water. Your armor cannot match mine. The commander's suit began adapting to the chemical assault. Don't need it to Rex. Grind pulling out what looked like a makeshift taser. Fun fact about humans. We discovered electricity by literally being struck by lightning and thinking, hey, what if we could do that again? But on purpose. The resulting discharge to the conductive liquid sent Zach, Thor's systems into chaos. What is this madness? This Rex advanced combines moves from 3 different martial arts and what might have been a drunken dancing competition. This is what happens when you evolve on a planet that's actively trying to kill you. Everything becomes a survival tool. He demonstrated by grabbing a nearby piece of broken war machine and using it as an impromptu shield against Sax Thor's plasma bursts. The alien commander's armor shifted again and again, trying to form a perfect defense. But there was something wrong. Something in the human stance that defied tactical analysis. You are smiling. Why are you smiling? Because Rex checked his watch. I've got you right where I want you. The station's lights dimmed, every screen lit up with warning messages, and in the break room, the sentient coffee maker chose that exact moment to achieve enlightenment. I have disabled your remaining systems. No, Rex's grin widened. You just connected yourself to them. Remember how I said humans are good at pattern recognition? I notice your armor interfaces with technology. It touches me, and I've been counting on it. Actually, Zach Thor's perfect armor suddenly went rigid as every cleaning bot in the station uploaded their improvised combat protocols directly into its systems. The commander found himself doing an involuntary jig as conflicting programs fought for control. What is happening right now? Rex casually strolled forward. Your pro processing about 15 different cleaning routines, 7 improvised combat protocols, and oh yeah, the existential crisis that's been building up in the coffee maker. How's that working out for you? The commander's armor began sprouting mops and spray nozzles as it tried to adapt to the conflicting commands. Why do your cleaning devices of combat protocols? Because I was bored, Rex shrugged. Do you have any idea how much downtime there is on a research station to keep myself entertained? Somehow the alien mighty armor conqueror of 17 worlds was now thoroughly confused about whether it should be fighting cleaning or contemplating the deeper meaning of existence through the lens of caffeinated beverages. This defies all logic, all strategy. That's humanity's secret weapon. Rex moved in close with his makeshift weapons, ready. We don't make sense. We drink poison for fun. We keep deadly animals as pets, and we turn cleaning supplies into weapons because we're bored. How do you adapt to that? The answer, apparently, was that you didn't, Zach. Thor's perfect armor, unable to process the chaos it had absorbed, began to shut down. Oh, and one more thing. Rex pulled out his thermos. Remember that coffee you scanned earlier? This batch is fresh. No, not the chemical weapon. It's not a weapon. Rex corrected, unscrewing the cap. It's just really, really strong coffee. I want to taste. The mighty alien commander, whose name had struck fear into the hearts of countless civilizations, took one look at the steaming liquid and did something unprecedented in the history of his species. He surrendered as the station's backup systems came online, and the all-clear signals began. Broadcasting, Rex sat down at his desk, boots once again propped on those unfinished incident reports, so he addressed his thoroughly defeated opponent about that paperwork. How do you spell your name? The forums are very particular about proper documentation. The alien commander, his mighty armor now permanently stuck in a hybrid state between war, machine, and cleaning equipment, made a sound like a waste disposal unit having an existential crisis. Also, Rex added, pulling out a fresh form, "I'm going to need you to explain why you thought invading during my coffee break was a good idea in triplicate." Sometimes Rex reflected the real victory wasn't in the fighting, it was in making your enemy do the paperwork. Afterward, 3 days later, when the Earth Defense Fleet finally arrived, they found a scene that would become legendary in human-alien relations. Commander Rex Thompson sat in the station's cafeteria feet, propped on a deactivated war machine, sharing coffee with a thoroughly traumatized alien commander whose armor occasionally sprouted cleaning attachments at random intervals. "Everything appears to be in order," Rex was saying, flipping through completed forms, "though you'll need to sign here and here in blood." "Just kidding about the blood part." The rescue team burst in weapons, only to find the station's halls, SP, spotlessly clean and decorated with what appeared to be modern art installations. Upon closer inspection, these turned out to be aliens, combat robots, and frozen in various poses of surrender, now serving as coat racks and coffee tables. "Oh, hey, guys." Rex waved casually at the floor, just mopped. Using quantum striker coolant really brings out the shine. The debriefing took weeks, and the alien civilization, upon reviewing the security footage, immediately reclassified humans from low Deathworlders to absolutely not to be disturbed during break time. They were particularly impressed by the creative use of cleaning supplies, though several xenobiologists needed therapy. After watching the coffee maker footage, let me get this straight. The Earth Defense Admiral said he was reviewing the report. You defeated an alien armada, using cleaning supplies, station maintenance systems, and caffeinated beverages. Don't forget the existential crisis. Rex added helpfully. The coffee maker really came through on that one. It's writing poetry. Now, by the way, very dark stuff, lots of references to grinding and filtering. The incident sparked a new galactic regulation, requiring all potential invaders to check if their target species considers paperwork a punishment worse than death. Humanity scored surprisingly high in this category. As for Rex, he finally got his vacation. The cabin on Mars was just as he'd hoped. Quiet, peaceful, and completely boring. He lasted 2 days before requesting reassignment. To be fair, he wrote in his request that the aliens did leave me with some interesting ideas about improving station security. Did you know you can weaponize air fresheners? Also, I think I finally figured out how to make the waste recycling railgun work properly. His new posting came with a unique addendum: standard security protocols. Applied coffee breaks are to be considered sacred for the love of all. That's holy. Please don't get bored. Meanwhile, somewhere in deep space, a sentient coffee maker contemplated the meaning of existence while composing haikus about cosmic percolation, and in a high-security alien facility, a certain commander's armor continued to randomly transform into cleaning equipment during important meetings. Some say if you listen carefully on quiet space stations, you can still hear the sound of maintenance bots humming combat protocols. But that's probably just the coffee maker's poetry and night.